All right. Fucking Twitch. Killing my stream. How fucking dare you? It was Gumshoe. It was Gumshoe's fit print, if you guys didn't see that. God fucking damn it. Ugh. It's fine. These prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Thank you, Emma. Thank you. Something's wrong, Mr. Wright. You gave me this so what look. Guess that's probably because I was thinking so what. Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. Twitch trying to make your title true. You gotta roll with the punch. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thank you for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right? Right! There was a handprint here. Okay. Want to try using this? There got her eyes sparkling again. Let's check for prints. Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in the area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me! Anyway, let's try to find prints whether they weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. Poof! 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 Holy shit! I have a feeling it's a Marshall or Gumshoe because it looks a lot like Gumshoe's, but I want to make sure I look at everyone else's fingerprint first. Yeah, there we go. Hey, these fingerprints, Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone we know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Marshall's fingerprint added to the court record. That's got to be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma. This is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh! So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped bloodstain. Then why would Officer Marshall? Looks like our investigation is finally turning up results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. Continue. No, I don't want to save. You can't wait. February 24th, 9:41. District Court, Defendant's Lobby number 1. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at the time of the crime scene. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much as I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind the simultaneous murder, they wouldn't see capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I am as much in the dark about things as they are. Miss Skye. We did discover traces left by a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. You found Officer Marshall's traces? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's a trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to have to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to, Mr. Wright. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. These courtrooms keep going up in number every time I'm in here. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach criminal affairs from the prosecutor's office. The victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yeah, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as a prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what set Mr. Edgeworth apart. He's not so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness at the stand. For first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder occurring at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Ooh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Oh, hello, Meekins. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I am Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You have to believe me, sir.
Actually, we'd like to hear from you as... Sir, I'm what you would call a part of a younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, please help me, sir.
Officer Meekins,
Yes, sir.
give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I am part of the generation that must be told what to do, sir.
You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. You knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more info to work with. Here comes cross-examination. Hold it! Mr. Meekins, you work on the General Affairs Department, don't you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes! Now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of the guarding at the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the head of detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around. Then I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Hold it! In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed in here, right?
There it is. I found it. This is the one right here.
Could you please read the number?
Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir.
Interesting. I see, huh? But the number 4989596 is being showed used twice. Please explain this, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go in after him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during the second time when...
Yes, sir, that's when I spotted the man in the security screen.
Hold it! Hold it! So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir, a knife!
Detective Goldman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You weren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I saw my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if I could just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
Hold it! Hold it.
Hold it. Ah.
What exactly did you mean by when you say you did it?
I don't look like that, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down in an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife?
I spun around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my arms like eyes like a man.
I see. Must have been desperate.
Next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of blood. And then, the next thing I knew,
Yes?
he punched me right in the face, sir.
About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer who woke him up, the witness it was around 5:30.
He hit me again in the head, too. I woke up crying, tears of pain.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. Returned to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins?
Rather, yes, Officer Meekins?
With regards to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my cell. Chief Grant delivered it me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it?
What is that? A videotape?
Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. Was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. I'm the only thing I'm really good at, sir.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well, then let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
A videotape of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into?
$3D.
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirring within us?
What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going to go smoothly? Security video added to the court record.
Yes, well, anyway. Tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness' testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. His case can't be clearly seen in the video. But there's no question that the person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker with the required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do so. Locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by a detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? The face of the man who attacked you with a knife? He was wearing a glove! Wait, but it didn't have any fingerprints on it. Never mind.
Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter.
The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not?
More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people's faces when talking to them, you see.
Yeah, that's a good trait for the police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him. I'd bet my badge on it.
But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as seen or not seeing it.
Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it.
Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Meekins!
Hey!
Having been shown the questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be certain when you testify.
Yes, sir.
You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. He only responded to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried.
The man opened the locker's lock with only response to registered fingerprints. And he must be the person the locker's assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir, and this too. The locker you opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman, sir.
How do you know that's information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from the people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir, they keep me informed. They also led into my romantic trouble, sir.
Ay. For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video, the man's face.
So, sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust the knife into my body, sir. My unsubtle state can testify enough for this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. It's alright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? There's a fingerprint on the face of that thing. He isn't wearing gloves.
Oh!
The paper isn't there. And then it shows up. Regarding the video contained in this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not be Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
I propose we have the defense point out to this alleged contradiction in the video. You want me to point it out?
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward and rewind, pause the video. Just take a good look at the shirt to point out the thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching the video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates this man may not be Detective Goodman?
The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this.
Yes, that is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What you are looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman. Oh, yeah.
Whew. I almost walked right into the defense's trap.
I'll place him under arrest, sir.
Rats! I need to go slow down and tackle these things one piece at a time. What do I do? Oh, is it telling me that I can't do that immediately? Very well. Let's try this again. Just remember one thing, Mr. Wright. Every time you point out your finger, someone gets hurt. But he's the one pointing his finger.
I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak as.
I had to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've had to do that. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that falls out after. These 3D models. Was that always there? That was in fact always there. Yeah. This has to be important, but that's like not what they want right now. I'm gonna try this immediately.
Well, I don't get it.
Would you mind if I borrowed your eye medicine?
Don't look at me with those bleary eyes.
Before your eyes get too teary, perhaps you should think this through again, Now, what should I do? I should go to the cross-examine again. Seems I've been taking the wrong approach.
Now then, the defense may resume its cross-examination. Seems the witness is still willing to continue, that is. Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. It's my duty as the police officer to help those in loss, sir.
Great, now they think I'm lost. Let's check the core record again. It has to do something when he's opening it. Is it that the light's already on? No. It's gotta be this. Officer Meekins.
Sir. Sir, do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. Okay, so it was the light. Oh god, why is the music playing? When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If the print matches the registered data, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to the very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
So if so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Picture? Video. Ah, that's what it was. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. Locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Order! Order! What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime.
But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. The door is shut, a sensor is triggered. And the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect or report any malfunction.
Oh, well, it just goes to show that novices should keep their mouth shut. So then, Mr. Wright, have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Actually, I know why. It's the paper. Yes, well, very well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think? What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed electronic system? Something jammed the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. That's what I thought too. There's got to be another clue in there somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause of this.
It's a paper that fell out. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Thank God it doesn't play the music while it's fucking doing that. The fucking thing would have driven me mad. Holy shit.
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's my experience that things fall out when the doors are opened. I have to fall out and roll great distances when I open my car door, sir. We can't be sure. That item was in the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say... You don't like do between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
The white thing wasn't inside. The white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of the 3 times it gets stuck on the door when I get out of the patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. But the object would have to have been extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene,
There was just might have been something that fits the description. Oh, the rubber glove.
But sir, my insulator, you don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out.
very well. Will the defense please present relevant evidence? What was the insulator that was stuck inside the locked door?
Luckily, with tech, I am really good with that.
I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove.
We can't be sure that was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. That isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is that not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so, sir.
Order, order, order. So are we to believe then that the victim who this witness stabbed in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated the possibility and nothing more. The victim in this video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
Very well, begin your testimony.
Mysterious man number 2.
There's one other thing that proves me the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
An ID card record. I see.
I have an ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike at me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why would there be so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, though it doesn't make much of a difference. There was only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, don't you?
Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. My hand wasn't wrapped in bandages. I'd even give a V for victory sign, sir.
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out. No one can afford to make any more mistakes.
Is that card hanging from your neck one of those ID cards?
Yes, sir. This card right next to the cuffs, to my cuffs, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
That's the smoking gun. He didn't know his ID because he lost it.
Let's go! Okay. What if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I was 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck in the car door when... Get out? Well, that remaining time my ID card gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
Let it be noted that this is the record the witness is referring to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
Well, according to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here too.
What? Why the fuck are you bowing? I swear to fucking Christ, Edgeworth. So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide evidence. Mommy, is that man in the blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him. You've got the whole wrong color, kid.
It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled out a knife on you. Yes, sir, he didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked? Everything stems from the contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. Not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we got. Okay, hold on. Let me save. And I'm going to show them the missing card thing. And hopefully that'll be the smoking gun for this. Oh, the music stopped, so it must be right. Yes. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good with waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report? It's only half complete.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability on the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, you must inevitably arrive to a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also a fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content with pointing your finger around. This isn't good. Well, 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 it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime could only take place on one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murder being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ha! I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap for the beginning.
the activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? Where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this? I'm object. Wait. How would that prove her innocence? How would that prove her innocence? We'll see. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Oh. Is it going to actually do that? However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Okay. Specifically, large amount of blood traces were found in the evidence room. Oh, that's why it's so important that we showed the blood in the parking lot. Because there was not a large amount of blood in the parking lot. So that means the murder did happen in there. And then the blood was near the car, so that means the blood was in the car, and when the body came out, that's where the blood was. The defense demands further examination to the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
if this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have no preparation, any other witness for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh? Who do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The Wrinklies. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name?
Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let him know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel like we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take 30-minute recess, and the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
I will testify, Nick says, pointing at Edward.
We will, Your Honor.
We will, Your Honor. We will, Your Honor.
Court in recess.
February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court Defendant's Lobby, number 2. We'll have to wait, because I am out of time. It would seem that it is eluding us yet again another day. Maybe I might just do it on Thursday as well, just to get it out there, you know? Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. This is really fun. Really cool to see where it's going, what's going on. We'll see about Thursday. I might do Monster Hunter. I might just do more Nick. Tune in to find out. Yeah. Join me either Thursday or Tuesday for more Phoenix Wright. And yeah, we'll have fun with that. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Take care and have a good one, y'all. Be safe.